What's up, everybody? Welcome to GoatBroz, your go-to place for nonsensical chatter about Gotham. I am Chiba Chuck.
And I'm DJ Chin1, and today we're going to review episode 4 of Gotham Arkham. And this was a pretty wild episode, so we're going to structure it a little differently, but I think it was a great episode.
So far, yeah, it's the best episode.
Absolutely. Slightly better than the pilot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of shit goes on, but let's start with the main plot point of this episode, and that's the district proposal of Arkham itself, the undeveloped land. And it's a battle between the two mafia bosses, Maroni and Falcone, and how this is more of a power struggle, politically driven, um, between the two mafia bosses, right?
Right.
And we start off with the mayor kind of saying that this was a Wayne plan.
What was? I think
what was going to be accepted was a new facility, tear down Arkham, new facility, and new housing for low-income people of Gotham. And that was a Falcone-backed plan, and they're using the Wayne name to kind of sway voters, or just have good morale for people that are like, oh, the Waynes, they're romanticized at this point.
Right.
But clearly, the plan has changed, and it's been corrupted. It's no longer the Wayne plan. It's just like Alfred mentioned, Wayne by name.
Yeah, it's just a name tag on it, right.
So, what do you think so far about this plot point, how it starts?
Well, you also have Maroni who wants to just reopen the asylum.
Right.
And use the surrounding property for disposal site. So it's like day and night, One's a glimmer of hope for Gotham, and the other one's let's make it into a bigger cesspool. It's a good topic for where we're going.
Yeah, I think it's very fascinating. It's just interesting. The crime bosses of Gotham is something amazing. It's a story where like you get used to the Gotham villains, the eccentric type, like the Joker, and it's cool to have these grounded storylines. But that's the backdrop of it all.
Right.
But let's get to the characters like the Penguin, right? The Penguin, he just came back the last episode, and now he starts off where he left off the last episode with a cliffhanger, showing up to Jim's door, and then he's like, "Hey, old friend."
Yeah, I like how Jim plays along with that. He doesn't tell Barbara who he is.
No,
it's just an old friend.
He doesn't want to tell her about the work stuff, huh?
No, of course not.
Not yet. Or maybe not never. So then they have a big conversation outside, and what
is that? What we're calling it, a conversation?
It was weird.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah. Penguins wanted to gain, and you kind of see the seeds of Penguin's kind of just plot and overall takeover, or trying to take over, or trying to get ground back by having connections, and Jim being one of them. Because he mentions Arkham for the first time and how it's politically driven.
Yeah.
It's a war coming. And there's going to be many people that die, and he wants to help Jim out.
Yeah, and then someone laughs in the background, and Jim gets distracted slightly.
That was so stupid.
It's so weird.
He's like, Jim's focused on Penguin, and then like people were laughing. I don't know what the fuck. And he like looks at them as in if there's
his whole body. He does this like, oh, it's not over there.
And did you see his face? And he's like he was gonna fucking murder the people.
Yeah.
And then Penguin's like runs away in the worst Batman imitation of all time, and Jim looks back bewildered like this motherfucker's fat. But it's nice because it sets things up for the rest of the episode.
It does. It's this whole political game.
But continuing on the Penguin's kind of story arc in this episode, he's back in the restaurant with Maroni, and then you know what I noticed? He sees a bag of money being
brought back,
and he kind of has that devious smile of shit's gonna happen. I'm gonna make shit happen for myself. And what does he do?
Well, he plans this heist. Heist. Again, he breaks it. He's sitting there washing dishes, and robbers come in, bust in the place, kill the manager, and steal the money. Kalapa notices that those guys come in, shoot somebody. He takes some of the bags. Obviously, they find him, and they're like, oh, he saved a bag of money and shit like that, right?
He's loyal,
so he gets promoted. He gets the position for manager that just became vacant because
he got killed. Yeah, so this is clearly Penguin being a fucking genius.
He is because at the end, you see that he's the one that created that situation. He hired the guys to come in and do the heist and kill the manager and do everything.
And start his ascension towards the top.
Yeah.
And the soon-to-be war, apparently. I like the little kind of visual of him, like at first, not visual, but like storytelling of him, pretty much beating up, in the previous episode, beating up the dishwasher for his shoes, and in this episode already rising to Falcone, not Falcone, but Falcone's second hand in charge, I guess, giving him money for a suit.
Maroney, you mean?
Maroney's second in charge though, gives him money for
Yeah.
the suit, and I thought that was like a very cool,
Yeah.
sort of a visual, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he's starting to go up the ranks, you know, and it's so. I mean, that visual of the pink box.
Right, because his robbers are in the room are celebrating the big ploy.
Yeah.
They got one over on Maroney. They're excited. All the money's coming in, and he arrives in this pink box.
Yeah.
And I just like that fucking visual.
It's
It's
so
so dark.
He doesn't bring it up.
He doesn't bring it up. He just sits there with a pink box of cannoli.
Cannolis.
I don't know what the fuck that is though.
I'll tell you later. It just sounds weird if I explain on camera. It's just,
No,
it's pastry with like cream inside.
okay.
Just
So is it jelly donuts?
sort of, but it's like raw.
But essentially, he just sits there, and then I think the visual itself made the robbers go, "What the fuck? You got
yeah, big box. What's in the
big
big box?
And I was like, yeah, I got cannoli." Like, oh, try
Yeah.
some. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you go for it, guys." Like he wasn't. I just showed up with this box of cannoli. I was gonna eat it on.
If you want some, then yeah.
Yeah, and it's poison. Clearly, they all foam at the mouth, and he just like gotta tie up those loose ends. That's what a boss does.
Yeah. Jim should learn from him.
Jim. But then there's another story arc again that I think is gonna set up the next episode, and it doesn't really, in a subtle way, but it's needed, and that's the fish storyline, and how she's auditioning these singers.
It's so low key in the whole, because this is such a like crazy episode that it's low key that it's happening. You know, like it's just like, oh, she's just auditioning girls.
Right.
You know.
He's like, you can sing, can you seduce me? And you're kind of watching like, all right. Until she mentions a line that she goes, I don't need a girl, I need a whipping.
Right.
And I think you kind of like, okay. Clearly it was going to have a point to this.
Yeah, they're just going to
show. It was like, oh yeah, Fish got a new singer, all right, what's next? What I like about it, what I criticize about it, I say like because I thought it was funny, is the fact that you know who's going to get chosen. The girl who's mentioned by name, first of all. I don't think the other girl was mentioned by name.
I don't remember hearing it.
Right? Clearly says, I don't know, like the seduction scene, and then her walking out, and then Fish getting her to look like you're the one. So clearly, the second girl, Liza, is gonna be chosen.
Yeah, and then she has him fight for the position. You're like, okay, let's go. So we know what's happening.
Who's gonna win? I'm guessing the girl with the more dialogue, because the other girl didn't say shit.
Yeah.
Like clearly she was gonna win. But I thought it was a cool scene. Maybe it was Fish testing Liza. Like, I'm choosing you, but
it was.
Kick your ass.
Well, because he even says that. Like, the first one says, like, well, I'll do whatever it takes. And Fish tells her, like, well, they all say that. It's true. You say that until you're actually tested.
Right.
So that was a good setup for what's to come.
Yeah, clearly Fish is smarter than my analysis. So, moving on to Bruce. Bruce
didn't have a lot going on.
No, but he is trying to link the Arkham plan to his parents' murders, which is kind of obvious, right?
Well, it's the last thing that he has of them,
right?
By name, like this is my parents' thing, and he's very possessive of it, and to the point where he doesn't understand.
But I think it's also clear, right? Like, okay, maybe they killed my parents because they wanted to do this with Arkham, and maybe Falcone wasn't gonna profit off of it.
Right, so there's that, but it doesn't really go any further than him. I think his biggest contribution at this point is the conversation that him and Jim have at the end.
Right.
Where Jim, Bruce asks Jim straight out, like, hey, is Gotham worth saving? And Jim says, Gotham is worth a try. Or is worth try to save.
Bruce has this inspired look in his face, right?
Yeah, so it's, again, I love that they're doing the Bruce's, like, it's little sprinkles of what it takes for him to become Batman.
You see the fragments of inspiration.
So it's just one more on
from the Balloon Man, from Jim Gordon's speech,
but other than
from
that,
just watching TVs and stuff like that.
Unless you saw something I did, but I didn't see him having an impact in what happened. It was just that he was a bystander in this one.
Right, so let's move on to Jim and Barbara, and Barbara returns. Barbara's back again. Okay.
Barbara, a little bit less eye candy. I think
she has a reason here. I like the Jim and Barbara interactions there.
Mm-hmm. They did. I mean, you have the beginning where she's starting to doubt him, and it's just like a lot of long nights. She doesn't like secrets.
No.
But you're with a cop. He can't come around and say, hey, babe, guess what happened today? Actually,
I think by law you can't do
the
that.
last time he did that, she called the newspaper. Right. So, can you blame the guy?
Maybe that's how Jimmy gets turned on. And he likes it.
Yeah, but then at the end,
ooh, baby, call the Gazette.
She basically makes him choose me or your secret / job /
And then Jim turns it around like, bitch, you're dating Montoya, aren't you?
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, all right, bitch, you got me.
So it's a hypocrisy.
You know what? I'll criticize the fact that it turns. That scene ends with her saying, okay, I'm sorry. And then it ends, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, wait. Like, I know you're going to touch on it, but that's a weird way to end the scene.
That's a weird way to end the scene.
Like, you get all...
It's just a lot of secrets between both of them. And, again, I think it's one way to just... At least she has a storyline now. At least she has more purpose in the story now, you know. Yes, she drew a line in the sand. Says, like, this is where you got to be at. Yeah, I fucked up. I didn't tell you about my girlfriend. And the cards are on the table.
You know, I criticize the Balloon Man for being a ridiculous as character, but his effect on Jim, having to choose, having that dilemma that he has, I think it shows here with him not telling Barbara. Yeah. He's probably subconsciously accepted that he's gonna have to do some shit.
Yeah, he's not proud of.
Because remember, it's like, you used to talk to me about work all the time. Why not this time? I forgot what he says, but clearly it's because of Gotham, and because he's gonna have to do some shit he's not gonna want to.
Right.
So I like how everything bleeds into the next episode. At least something. It doesn't just move on. But let's come to the killer of the week.
The killer.
And his fucking amazing...
We should have a graphic that goes like, bling!
Killer of the week, everybody. What's his name? Gladwell?
Yes.
Gladwell. And
that's the guy who he murdered and took over.
Right.
We don't ever find out who the assassin's name is.
I kind of like that. I like that.
He's
I like how they accepted it. Like, fuck it, let's just call him Gladwell. Way to honor the dead, right? Like, fuck him, let him take his identity. He went through the trouble of fucking murdering this guy.
And living his life for a couple of years.
Let's throw this guy a bone.
He's been paying taxes and shit.
So he's out there killing councilmen for essentially Falcone and Maroni.
Both, yeah. And I think it's very important that it's mentioned at some point that, you know, in jail they're trying to figure out who this guy is. They go talk to a ex, assassin in jail, and he's like, oh yeah, I know who that is. He explains the weapon, which is what is it called?
A sharp tool. Oh no, sharp tool. He has a sharp tool.
It's a tool, yeah, babe. It's a metal spike.
Metal spike.
It's a metal spike. There we go. And he's like, oh, he's a freelance. There's not a lot of those left out there.
Independent.
Because they all choose sides. You know, so I think it was important here that because it was so politically charged, it chose a guy who was freelance. He wasn't tied to Falcone, Maroni, Fish, or anybody. He was just his own dude. And he killed for both sides.
Right. I really like the fact that it wasn't just murders. It was essentially, okay, Maroni paid for the first kill, which was Jenkins, who was backing Falcone's plan. And then Falcone's like, oh, really? I'm going to burn your guy.
Yeah.
And that's the retaliation for Falcone. And then Maroni goes fucking apeshit or whatever. But what I theorize is that when Maroni got hit at his restaurant by Penguin, but Maroni I think assumes it's Falcone.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, Penguin's having an influence on this, right?
He is, of course.
And then that's when he goes after the mayor. And in going after the mayor, you essentially, the mayor kind of like, all right, I need to stop this. We need to come to a compromise, right?
Yeah, and yes, it comes to a compromise, but also I think there's a flaw in the ideology of this whole thing, where Jim says, we need to capture this guy, or there's going to be a lot of murders, or like, he makes it seem worse than it is. If you catch this murderer, all that's going to happen is like less councilmen are going to die.
Because essentially what's going to happen, Maroni's going to get some, which is going to cause the war that you expected, or he's going to get none. What is Maroni just gonna sit down and do shit?
Right, it is what it is. Like, yeah. So I mean, yes, I get your point, but it's not as dire as they made it out to be. But again, it is a compromise that they split it halfway.
Yeah, but I like the fact that Penguin indirectly affects that through stealing from Maroni, robbing the restaurant, and essentially provoking Maroni to send Gladwell to go kill the mayor. To have things swayed in his position.
Right.
And the mayor's like, fuck it, I'll just appease both of you guys. What essentially happens?
I believe
low-income housing.
Arkham
stays, but it's renovated.
It's renovated, and then the disposal site's still being built.
Which is a major blow, as Fish mentioned, to Falcone.
Yeah, and again, Fish is sitting there at the end with the new singer/weapon. You know, kind of like we're beating our time. Right. And I think a big part of that whole compromise, two things. One is the hilarious time travel that fucking Jim does.
Oh my god, I forgot about that scene. All right, I'll let it go.
So I'll let you talk about that. Yeah, I'll let you talk about that because I know how much you love that part. But the second part is that going back to Bruce. Bruce doesn't understand, like, it's not cool. Like, my parents' plan didn't go through or whatever. And Jim's kind of trying to make him understand, like, sometimes you have to compromise. Right. Like, this compromise saved a lot of pain and suffering and death for a lot of people, and you have to understand that sometimes. Now, with that said, take it away, sir.
All right. Jim Gordon is watching the mayor announce the compromise, which how they're gonna end up with Arkham, the district, and like a few seconds later,
they're at GCPD, by the way.
They're at GCPD, yes. And then a few seconds later, as the mayor is finishing his speech, he's at Bruce Wayne's house because apparently he got on his DeLorean, or I don't, right?
Yeah,
apparently he has that fast travel button on video games when you.
For all we know, maybe like GCPD is like right behind.
Maybe fucking Jim Gordon's always at the Wayne Manor. Maybe they're just neighbors.
He goes there for lunch.
Real quick mention though, they do catch Gladwell when he's going towards the mayor. And one thing I want to point out is when Jim Gordon gets to the mayor before Gladwell does, like he goes into the residence before Gladwell, and Gladwell follows by pretty much immediately. It was a cool sense of suspense. And when they're gonna leave the place, Jim drops his gun because Gladwell comes in. And I like that Gladwell picked up the gun as to say, I have a shitty ass weapon. Even he fucking admits he has a shitty ass weapon. He's like, fuck this knife.
He still tries to kill him with a knife though.
Yeah, but he's like, oh shit. Like he never knew guns were invented.
He's like, fuck this pen.
Yeah, like, okay. Cause come on, man. Like.
Well, here's the funny thing, dude. What does he use that gun for? Opening a fucking door.
Right.
And then he goes back to his little sharp tool.
He was menacing, but when you realize
because he was calculating and cold.
Oh, and because the actor did a really good job of portraying that.
But like he seems like, you want to hire a professional because we get the job done.
So fucking
get the fuck out of here, dude.
You lost all credibility in that last one.
Yeah, he's like 20 feet away from the mayor. Yeah. You're really gonna jump in?
He said that fucking line like he had a plan. Like he's gonna kill everybody there.
I was hoping like he'd shoot like a sprinkler or like some crazy shit. He just jumped at the guy like, you deserve to die.
And one last thought I wanted to mention, at least for me, was that when he was gonna get Jim Gordon, he was gonna stab him with his pencil.
Pen?
Harvey comes in with a gun pointed at him, and he essentially says, put it down. And I was like, that's weird, Harvey. Like your partner's about to get killed by this murderer. You killed Mario Pepper like if it was nothing. You're not the model cop. But then I remember like this guy works for the mafia, man. Maybe Harvey isn't so trigger happy when it comes to paid assassins by the two strongest, most powerful men in Gotham. And I thought that was a nice touch. If that's what was in, if that was the intention.
It's a good idea,
right? Because I was like, that's fucking stupid. Harvey shooting him.
Yeah, no shit.
So that's it. That's our wrap up on episode 4 Arkham. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.
We'll see you guys next time. Deuces.